So how did you even find this, I guess, gift?
Gosh. So as a kid growing up, I would always see spirit. And, I thought, at first I didn't think anything of it until my mom was like, hey, what is that? Don't say those things, And then just growing up, some things would frighten me, sometimes I'd see scary things. But once I left the house, I thought, okay, I can't suppress this thing any longer. What is this, And I ended up accepting my gift as a medium, seeing spirit, and I wasn't channeling. I wasn't always channeling. Channeling came later to me, and how it came to me was I would always, I'd give readings to people and help them have closure with loved ones who have passed, things like that. And finally, one day my guide said, instead of you talking to us, because this is how a medium works, right? They speak to their spirit guides or they speak to the spirit and then relay the message. They're like a translator. That's what a medium is. To me, they're a translator.
Yeah.
And they said, instead of being the translator, what if you allowed us to just step into you and let us speak directly to them? And so I was like, oh, and I wouldn't let anyone just jump in my body and start talking, right? So, but at this point, I developed a deep relationship with my guides. I'm like, okay. So the first time I ever channeled was a Maori spirit named Tamatoa. He was this very masculine. And whenever he would leave my body, I would have the shakes. Oh my gosh, cold. And I said, it's too strong. I need a more feminine energy. And then came Whakatea, which I channeled for about 10, 11 years. And I would see her every single day. She was like a grandmother to me. And so we built this relationship. And so she would step into me and speak. And whenever she would speak to people, just the tears would come down because they would feel her love. And she was this old Maori lady. And I missed her a lot because the things she would say. And sometimes I would have to apologize because, the old Polynesian grandmas, right? They don't even care. They just tell you like it is, right? So I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. I didn't know what she's going to say, And so, but yeah.
So how, when you say you missed her, you don't have access to her anymore?
So she went on her journey. There was a point where she said, you've learned everything you can from me. I've done everything I can for you. It's time for me to move on. And there's a new guide for you. And I was just like, no, And, but she's like, no, you're ready for a new guide. And so now my guide is Star instead of Whakatea.
But you also had light beings.
Yep. Yeah. So I had also channeled a council called the Light Council, and they were very, very knowledgeable about energy and just the wisdom that they would share. And a lot of times I don't listen back, but Nani will always say, you have to listen back, because I don't remember a lot of the things that are said because I'm floating away, I'm outside of my body while they're sitting in my body talking. And so I'll listen back to things and I'm just really amazed at the things that they say. I'm like, oh my God, they're so smart. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow, I would have never, come up with anything like that. Yeah, myself. So
were you pretty knowledgeable about these things she was talking about before you?
No.
So what I would love is for someone like yourself who didn't know all this stuff, what made sense to you? Because I think when you speak like that, especially since now I understand, okay, I get it. But I bet if it was the first time ever meeting you, I'd be like, are you crazy? Right? So what kind of things, how would you best describe, I guess, what made sense to you when you were starting to understand what was happening?
Well, I didn't know what I was walking into when I went to my first channeling. And I just knew that I needed it. At that time, I was going through a rough patch, my dark moments. And somebody invited me to a channeling and I was just open. I was ready. I was ready for something different. And, I had been to counseling and that didn't work for me. It didn't resonate for me. But then I was open, heart was open, mind was open. You know, it's different. This was like over 13 years ago. And it was a different concept for me. So I just went open. I took one of my friends and I just sat there. There was in a room with about 50 people and I didn't know what to expect. And she closes her eyes and somebody different is speaking. And at that moment, tears just flowed out
Why?
of me.
Because you resonated with the message or you felt
I felt it. Oh. I felt the energy. I felt love. I felt loved.
Wow.
I felt just like a big hug just came over me and immediately just tears started coming out. And I see that in the channelings now with people whose first time to her channelings. I see people just as soon as her guides come in, I gotta go get paper towel, napkin, because tears are just coming down because they can feel the shift and they can feel it.
When she talks about like being counsel and all those types of things, have there been people that you had to kind of give more layman terms, like to explain, like, because that's something that's very foreign, right? Like, it's not like we read books and it's like a normal discussion of like, oh, there's this, you know, like being kind of star beings, all that stuff. So is it that people who maybe not as open as you were need to hear it in a different way that makes more sense?
Well, when I first talk to people, I really feel where they're at on their journey. And sometimes I have to break it down as far as, have you seen the movie Ghost? When Whoopi lets Patrick Swayze talk through her. And they're like,
no, it wasn't. Was it Patrick Swayze talking through her? It was, huh? For the first time?
Yeah.
I never watched it, but all I know is I see him like watching them make the clay.
Oh, yes.
And he
Yes.
comes in, his spirit comes in and sits in her body, and then he speaks through her.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
And then they get it.
Yeah, right.
They get it.
Because there's a visual that we.
But she doesn't channel Patrick Swayze.
You better
right?
not. I mean, no disrespect to him. I just don't know what he knows.
Yeah. So that's how I explain to people if I feel that they're not really versed in channeling. So I said, okay, movie Ghost. And they're like,
okay.
I get it.
And when you were younger, seeing the spirits, since that was something normal to you, how did you realize that, like, me and her, if we were friends with you, didn't see the same things you did?
Oh, because I would ask them, hey, you see that lady over there? And they're like, no, I don't. And so even my sister, I would say, oh my gosh, there's someone standing there. And she was like, please don't tell me that, please. I go, can you see them? So I would test them, like, can you see that person there? And then they would say no. So then I would know, like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't see them. You know what I mean? Like, because they can't.
And so when you would see them, you could also communicate with them too, and that's how So is it that you have to verbally communicate, or is it more even just
like telepathically? Yeah. Like you look at them and they're relaying their thoughts. So when I first really opened up, you know, moving on my own, moving out of the house, becoming a real adult, you know, and I said, okay, I'm going to open myself up to this gift. There would be a line of people at the edge of my bed at night. I remember this lady saying, can you call my daughter? She has to know I'm okay. Wow. And I wasn't that type of person to just pick up the phone and say, hey, your mom's told me, you know, no, you know. And so, but I would tell them, look, if you can find a way to have them contact me, I'm not going to just reach out. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. And so then there would be situations. So I'm going to tell you this story. I was a flight attendant and we're going from, I think it was Seattle to Osaka. So it was a long flight on a 747. And so we did our service and everything. And I'm in the back and I'm by myself. And I hear someone say, hey, can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me? And I don't even look at them. I go, yeah, I can hear you. And I look back and there's literally no one there. And I'm like, oh my God, someone found me. How did you find me in the air, you know? Yeah. And he goes, hey, my wife is a flight attendant on this plane. I have a message for her. Can you tell her? And I'm like, dude, I am at work, okay? Like I'm flight attendant, no, leave me alone. And he's like, I've been searching for someone to help me. Can you help me find my wife? And I'm like, oh, okay, just be brave. let's do this. So I think I was like 21 at the time.
Oh, wow.
Young, you know?
Yeah.
So I go, which one's your wife? And he's like, that one. And this girl looked like she's in her mid-20s. I'm like, no way, she's a widow. And he goes, that's my wife. I'm like, okay. So I go, I have to do my own test first before I just roll up on you, right? Like, hey, you know? So I go, okay. So I'm like, hey, where are you from? This and that, you know? And then I go, so are you married? She goes, no, I'm a widow. And he goes, see? And like, he's like, you know, and I'm like, oh my God. So I go, so I just was brave. And I said, I have to tell you something. Your husband is here. And I've had this gift for a long time, but I didn't want to approach you that way. And she was like, what? And so he started telling me personal things. Like, tell her, remember, I would like clip my fingernails every single day. Tell her that this is how I died. And immediately, like, my head started hurting. Oh. And I was like, oh my God, my head. And he goes, I died of a brain tumor. And then I told her, I said, did he die of a brain tumor? Because that's how I'm feeling. She goes, yes, he died of a brain tumor. And then he had back surgery and all these things. And so finally he goes, she believes you now. And I go, okay, well, what do you want to say? You know? And he's told me, he said, please tell her, remember when we were married and you knew I was dying, you promised to never love again. You would never get married again. And she goes, yeah, and I'm keeping that promise. I won't ever get married again. I promised him. And then I said, but now? And he goes, but now I see the light and I want your heart to love again. Oh, wow. And she just cried and I was like crying, you know, and he just said, thank you so much for telling my wife that. And then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, hello, you know, and he was gone. And I was like, okay, you know, and then of course that lady never talked to me the rest of the trip, which was totally fine. You know, she's probably weirded out, but I feel like maybe she had some kind of closure.
Yeah.
You know?
So when you're doing channelings, what do you feel the purpose is for you and for, I guess, the communities that you're reaching? Because when I came to you, I think it was more of like, I need answers because I'm so confused or curious. Maybe not confused, curious.
Well, let's go back to how you got here, how you got to that point.
I don't even remember. Oh, okay.
Now we did your podcast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did one with Nani, right?
That's right.
About basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which led us to now.
Yeah. Okay. Because that was about a year ago, and I had reached out to you to just talk story about your life,
my past life,
and experiences and stuff, right? In basketball and where you got your competitive spirit from, and then I guess I think we might have ended the recording, but we were talking about you losing your dogs, and then saying that Tahiti helps channel them and stuff like that. And then I was like, okay, this is I'm down. Like, what is this? And then so she was explaining about the book that you guys just put out. So as just trying to be support, because I don't read books, but I was like, I'm just gonna buy this thing and say I got it, and say, keep going, guys. But at the time, it did feel like I believed it, but I was just like, that's a little much. Like, I don't really need any help with that. And then I remember going, I think I need to get the audio book version because I won't read a physical one. So I had bought the audio version.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then a friend of mine a year later told me about this woman, Leanne, that was doing Lomi massage, but it's something so different, and she can reach into your soul and your life experience and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, I need that right now. Because like right now in my life, I'm just like, don't know what to do and feel like I have so many issues. So I went to see Leanne, and then she's telling me about you guys, and I was like, oh yeah, I bought their book. And then she's like, you should listen to it. It's like, okay. Not thinking I was actually going to do it.
Press play.
Yeah. I get into the car and I turn it on, and Audible, the app Audible is on, and it starts playing your book. And I was like, oh, that's trippy. So then I was ready to turn on, like, I didn't select that. And then I was like, oh, maybe this is somebody's way of telling me I should listen to it. And so I started listening to it, and that's when I got more intrigued because it really connected with me. And I was like, I wish I could talk to the Star Being Council that is being channeled in this Audible book. And then I went on the website and it's like, oh, you actually do personal channeling sessions. And then that's when I booked it. And I remember just being like, I don't want to offend them and like do something totally wrong, but I'm like, I have so many questions in my head, so.
Like, does Bigfoot exist?
Yeah.
You with the Bigfoot. With the Bigfoot.
I have so many of those weird questions, but the main thing was that I really had a lot more about like, what's my purpose? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
And I've always had these questions of, I've always felt I wanted or needed to do X, but it felt like such a strange, like pipe dream kind of thing. And then also kept getting these messages or experiences like reoccurring. And I'm like, hey, there's gotta be something to this. Can you help me at least decipher what it means and such?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, from that experience, it was even more like, oh, right? And then just hanging out with you guys after that and talking, that made it even more. I mean, it just seemed to like open up.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So you
vision,
know
right?
who that was leading you to the Audible and played that was you.
Oh,
That was you. That was your higher self.
okay. So what does that mean? Like, there's me looking out for me?
Your higher
or-
consciousness, yes.
Interesting.
Your higher consciousness played it for you. Looking out for your highest timeline and your best purpose and your purpose. You're asking for your purpose, right?
Mm.
Are you in it?
I feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
you
weird
are.
because prior to all this, I had a lot of self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this voice that would always say, like, you're crazy, or that's like evil, or something like, like just canceling it out. And so my initial reaction would have been, I hope so, or maybe, I don't know. That would have been my answer, just because I'm afraid to commit to something or accept something. But this is a big difference for me to say right now, like, yeah, I think so. Like, I feel it.
That growth.
Yeah.
Yes.
That growth.
Yeah.
That healing.
Yeah.
Yeah. My hope for anyone that listens to a channeling or, attends one of our group sessions is to always elevate them into their highest timeline, into their highest purpose. That's the reason why I channel. There's a deeper reason. It's not just to, oh, I wonder if this is real, right? I mean, finding out if Bigfoot is a thing is curious. Remember we said, hey, let's have a session where you just ask anything, like the craziest questions, and see what happens, see what they say, right? I still want to do that, by the way.
Good.
Yeah. But the purpose of channeling is basically for me to be a messenger, just to step aside and I allow my guides to just speak through me. And whatever messages they give that person, it's for them. It's not for me. It's for them, for their growth, wherever they are in their life, in that time in their life. It's basically to point the way, like, hey, go this way, and whether they listen or not, that's up to them. Yeah.
And I think star beings, your councils also want to help humanity. So if you can raise your own frequency, if we continue to raise our frequency, you can touch other people to help them raise their frequency, and we can have a peaceful earth. I think that's the major reason, the one consciousness, is that they want to have humanity not blow themselves up. And one consciousness, love, frequency.
So I grew up raised in a strict Christian home and stuff. And the questions that I would always ask is like, because they would say, oh, God just wants to, bless you so you can bless others and make the world a better place, all that stuff. And then I'd be like, well, how come it's so difficult then? Like, if he were to just show up and go, hey, I'm real, then we wouldn't have all of this, back and forth and stuff. And so I've kind of translated that now to here, where I'm like, when I hear channelings, I'm like, this is so great. Like, everybody should know this. And then when you say like, oh, they want us to, love each other and stuff, like, so why isn't it so much easier to just say like, hey, this is, the way to live life, and it would be so great and make it easier for everybody. What is that?
I think because there's more than one way, like channeling, this is one way, but then this isn't the only way to achieve, like a better life, to raise your frequency. This isn't the only way. And I feel like we've come to this planet to learn, to evolve, to grow, and to learn how to work with dark and light, not just light, So the struggles that you've gone through in your life have molded you into this person that you are now. And imagine if you didn't go through those things, you wouldn't be the Nolan that we know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so to have gratitude for the nighttime struggles of your life has brought you here to this moment in your life now, and to just love that part, Yeah.
Do they care about, so the guides and whatnot, they want planet Earth to not blow itself up? Are they also tending to other places too? Because I feel like we're not the only place, right?
Thank you. Right? Thank you for saying that. Yeah, we're not the only place to live in the universe. There's billions of planets out there. You cannot tell me that only Earth has life. How is that possible?
Yeah.
Yeah. My guides would say, if you think that, that's like saying, looking at a bed of rice, right? A rice paddy field, and saying one grain is edible out of all of these grains. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very concerned about Earth.
Yeah.
All beings are concerned, because if it's a one consciousness that includes all solar systems and all universes, and Earth is a part of that. And if Earth were to blow itself up, or humanity would blow Earth up, that will cause a ripple effect. So they're very concerned about.
I'm glad you explained that, because I would have thought them yeah, go ahead. We have billions of other ones, right?
No. Yeah.
There's a ripple effect to other
Okay.
planets and systems.
Yeah. So what we do here affects other places too, not just Earth. Yeah. So the nuclear thing is a big concern for my guides. Yeah.
For your guides, since they have so many answers and seems like they know best, do they have where they are? Do they have issues or things that they need help, or are they kind of at the top, no problems kind of thing?
No, they're learning too. They're just an advanced species.
Gotcha.
They're learning too. Yeah.
Okay.
They never say we have all the answers. They'll never ever say that, because when I'm in a session, they will ask another, whoever's sitting in front, we want to learn from you too.
That's right. I have heard that.
And so they'll have a conversation to ask, what is it like to so they have a conversation.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're talking about human struggles, do they have no?
Yeah, they don't have human struggles.
Right?
It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense, because I think I go back to my upbringing, which is, God is at the top, so there's no all be all, right? And so I'm thinking I just ask you for all the answers. But when when we've done channeling, it's there's that give and take. And so that when we were in channelings, I would be like, how come they're asking me? Shouldn't they know that already?
No, because
they don't, right?
No, they're
Okay.
just. So imagine if you're in the first grade and then there's a professor.
Yeah.
They're the professor.
Yeah.
Professors don't have all the answers, but they're more far along than we are,
Yeah.
So that's where they're at. Yeah.
Okay. I have one more question as it
and
relates.
then we can channel.
As it relates to religion. So there's so many experiences that I've had where people are just so gun-ho about let's say Christianity, because that's what I grew up in, and hellfire and brimstone and all these things that made me so scared about the afterlife and stuff. Since you channel and connect to these spirits, has it been where there's people who have passed are oh my goodness, I had it all wrong, I shouldn't have said that like all these horrible things about this group of people, and there isn't like, all of this hell and heaven kind of thing, or like, I'm just curious, like, what happens to those people who are so adamant about something that they believed in that, in my opinion, might have been misguided or incorrect?
Well, I haven't come across any really like religious people that have passed, but the ones that I have spoken to, they're always coming back with love. They're always coming back with compassion, even, apologizing and asking for forgiveness in the afterlife. And so, I've never had a spirit come back and say, you see, I was right, you guys are all wrong. I've never had that before, but I've always, the common theme is love, forgiveness, thank yous, and closures of allowing that spirit to move on, Yeah.
I ask because I have all kinds of imaginations of things, and I think about when my mom passes, like if I were to ever connect to her, if she would come back like, son, I'm so sorry that I, just told you all these things, that I said you were going to go to hell and stuff like that. Like, I'm just curious if that would even be a possibility, or if that has happened,
anything's possible, right? But, she could come back and say, I love you and I'm proud of you,
Well, at that point, we hope that you within yourself know that you don't need it because you know the truth already.
Yeah.
And if she knows that you know the truth already, she wouldn't have to come back and say that. Yes, I love you.
Yeah. You have no idea how many times I've seen spirits go, cross over, especially from Hawaii. And it looks like they're entering a big luau. People are singing and dancing and they're like, man, if I knew it was this good, I would have left earlier,
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a big party up there. My dad's up there, enjoying himself. Yes.
Well, I don't want to say, well, I hope I get there soon, because I feel like there's a lot I would like to do here, but it helps to just know that feels better. Because when I was described like, oh, when you die and you go to heaven, the streets will be lined with gold and you'll be praising God all day and all night. I'm like, that sounds terrible. Like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, am I going to be miserable in heaven? But the way you describe it, it's like, I can connect to that much more.
And that's just what I've seen. And, the thing is that there's past life regression. This isn't the first time you've lived, so you've lived hundreds of lifetimes before. You've died, you were born, you've died again, born again, died again, born again. And so here you are wearing a Nolan outfit, right? You're living a Nolan human experience, living your purpose. And so I feel like for you, and this might be, I don't know if too personal or what to put on, but I feel like for you, what you're doing now, you've been doing this, but just in a different way. You've been shining the light on things to help people just broaden their awareness.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's one of your life purposes, is to shine the light on something to broaden people's awareness instead of being stuck in fear and so closed off from any other possibility.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because if life is limitless possibilities, infinite possibilities, then, like I said, this isn't just one way. Channeling to get information, to raise your frequency, to live your highest timeline isn't only through channeling, it's part of it. But my guides don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. But I'm just trying to do my best to be the clearest channel I can be to deliver the message so that you can take that information and just run with it and live your life. You know?
They're only here to turn the key to light the spark within you to do your own healing.
Yes. Yeah. So they have this key and they just turn it a little bit and it unlocks different parts of you. And that's your responsibility to work that out, right?
Yeah.
and to start living. You're like, thanks for that.
Yeah. I wish I knew this before they turned the key, but here we are.
Yeah.
But I think when they say we just turn the key to ignite the spark, it's a shift in your perspective
Yeah.
of your own life
That
and
makes
your
sense.
own healing. So
Yeah.
they're just like shift, 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 and then having you see it a different way so that you can understand and you're able and you want to go inward to start that healing journey.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think before this, it was I would be too scared to look within.
Yeah.
I would want to ignore, like, I don't want to feel that. Like, let's just cover it up.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
thank you for
Let's do this.
me
Yes.
and my weird questions.
Oh no, I love it. I love it. Yeah.